to the Cache La Poudre by B.N. Rundell, narrated by Scott Miller. 1. Departure. The morning sun was framed with the broad brush of orange clouds that spread their wings across the eastern ridge of the Medicine Bow Mountains. The warmth was welcome on the face of Talon Thompsett as he ushered the small herd of crossbred cattle up the trail alongside the south bank of Camp Creek. A mottled gray dog worried the heels of the lagging steers that weren't happy with the young man's choice of trails, and they repeatedly kicked at the scampering dog to show their disapproval. This wasn't the first time that Talon had used this trail to cross this stretch of mountains, but it was the first time anyone had dared to take cattle through the black timber that shouldered the trail. Spring came early this year, and the trail through the mountains was mostly clear of snow, but the northern slopes and shady areas still harbored drifts that hampered progress, and the cattle didn't like anything about busting snowdrifts. When Talon's well-trained dog, Smoky, took after the laggards, the drifts became the lesser of two evils, and the trail was soon made through the hazards. Talon wanted to clear the timber on the east side before making camp for the night, and they still had a ways to go, but there were only a couple of hours of daylight left. Several times his dusty-colored Gruya Mustang-bred gelding would bump up against the rump of the slower-moving steers and push them up the trail. There was very little that would keep his horse from moving the cattle on the trail, for this horse and Talon had practically been raised together. Talon was just 9 years old when his dad, Caleb, had presented him and his twin brother Tyrell with horses for their birthdays. Talon's was a Gruya gelding he had admired since it was born just 2 years earlier, and Tyrell's was a lineback dun mare of the same age. Although the boys had worked with horses since they were big enough to walk on their own, this was the first time they did all the training and breaking of their own mounts. Talon had relished the idea of making his horse not just a cow horse, but a true mountain horse, and his Gruya Dusty had fulfilled his dream. Now they were on their own and pushing this small herd across the mountains and down to Camp Collins. With the 2 most difficult days behind them, 4 more days would see the trip complete. But now it was time to look for a camp for the night.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?